I'm Eden.
And I'm Sal.
Welcome to the Stay Focused podcast, where we talk to business owners about their journeys and how they got started.
They share the best parts and the worst parts of business ownership, offer their business advice, and we get all of their funny mishap stories.
We do this podcast because your story matters, so stay focused.
I think I liked doing what I was doing so much, just had to keep fighting.
It's all going to be fine. Please come work for me. We're going to have the best time.
It was a no-brainer for us to do this together.
Did you just do this? And he's like, no.
Hey, Stay Focused listeners. Welcome to a very, very special episode of the Stay Focused podcast. Today, we're interviewing our very own Jerrod Shelton, owner of Cre8ive. That Cre8ive.
Co-owner of Cre8ive.
Yeah. Well, everyone already knows Eden. And if you didn't already know, Eden and Jerrod own this marketing agency called Cre8ive that runs the Stay Focused podcast.
We're very proud of it. It's been very fun. And this podcast, I'm very proud of it too. Y'all do great.
Thank you.
And this other guest just walked up.
Hopped on up.
And is sort of rudely interrupting.
It's Friday. It's bring your cat to work day.
But I was the only one who participated.
I think you might be the only one with a cat. I don't know.
I still was the only one who participated.
Yeah. We'll bring our bunnies next time.
So, welcome to the Stay Focused podcast, Jerrod.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. This is fun. I didn't know if I was going to be in season 2 or 8, but I got to be season 2.
Wait, I have to tell you why you weren't in season 1. It's because, one, I didn't want people to be like, ugh, of course. He's going to, that would be a no-brainer. Of course they have, Jerrod in season 1. But then, 2, you're not that. No, I'm kidding. That's mean. You're very special. So we had to save you for season 2. So it's way more exciting. The anticipation has been building.
Man, we're really hyping people up for this one.
We weren't trying to toot our own horns. We didn't want to just start with Cre8ive. But I think now
we know people outside of Cre8ive. So that's exciting. We did it. We wrapped season 1. Here you are.
That's
for
right.
Season 2.
Season 1 was awesome. It was filled with amazing guests, and I had way more fun listening to it than I thought I would, and that means a lot because I knew it was going to be great, but it was really, really cool. A lot of good questions and feedback from people and thoughts, and I learned a lot.
You had low expectations. So, Jerrod, tell us about Cre8ive.
Oh, about Cre8ive. What do you want to know?
What is Cre8ive?
Cre8ive is a digital marketing agency focused on your story and helping you stay focused on your story. And we do that through video production, a whole lot of website design, web maintenance, social media, lead generation, photography, drone videography, SEO, pay-per-click. I think the list goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a lot of things. So ask if you want to know even more, but I guess.
We're a one-stop shop.
We do it all here.
It's a lot. So tell me about how Cre8ive was born. How many years ago? 14 years ago?
That's right. 14 years ago. Cre8ive started really as an idea and a dream, and it happened because of all of the years that I saw my dad, Jerry Shelton, working in this industry in Lubbock for decades. And so I grew up in a household that knew advertising, that talked about advertising and Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop around the dinner table. And while my dad was director of marketing for United Supermarkets and also director of marketing for LCU. At one point when I was younger, he was at some form the art director of the Price Group, and so that's an agency in town that I still love. It's been around it's one of the oldest in town, if not the oldest. And knowing my dad's history there, I had a cousin, Krista, who worked there too. And when I was in college, I interned at the Price Group and got to know a lot of really amazing, fantastic people who were leaders in the industry and still are today. And it's great to have those relationships and to build on those still today. So all of that time watching my dad and everything that he did, and then in college, getting to work on some pretty big, I would call them movie sets for United Supermarkets and some of the commercial productions that we did. And
what was your major in college?
Business. I did that because my mom was a business major at LCU. She got her bachelor's in business, and she told me you could do anything with it. And my dad said, yeah, it's a great idea. You can do anything with it too. So I went for that. There were a lot of really good classes at LCU for digital media arts and in the communications department. I just felt like doing a business degree was more me. I'm not sure why, because it especially freshman, sophomore year, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I was going to LCU. But in my junior and senior year is when I kind of realized, I want to do video. That's really what I wanted to do. And I remember my advisor all through college was Dr. Cre8ive, and she's amazing. She's awesome. And she retired from LCU, doing a lot of big things, if you don't know her and her lead well stuff. But she was my advisor, and she said, you really need to take this course, this web design course, and as an elective, even though you don't have to take it because you're just a business major. But I thought, no, I don't want to do that. I told her, Dr. Cre8ive, I'm the video guy. That's what I do. And she said, no, I think you really do. So I'm just going to put your name down. And I said, okay. So I took web design, and when the class started, I did not like it. I was learning code, HTML. It was not my favorite. But I started learning some opening and closing tags and how HTML kind of worked. And then for the senior project in that class is when I really learned a lot and thought, I'm going to develop a WordPress website and make the first website for Cre8ive. And, spent a couple weeks building that, and then had a really cool website when I finished with like this moving slider and the header. That was really cool. And that was kind of unheard of back in the day at that time. Not everyone was using WordPress like they are now, but it really turned out awesome. And that's what helped me launch. And then what helped me really start a marketing agency right out of college. I told myself this. I was interning at the Price Group still at the time, senior year. And I told myself, if they offer me a job, I'll take it. If they don't, that's a sign that I just need to go do my own thing, just start it up.
So I want to rewind a little bit, because you said that you were in this web design class and you decided to make the website for Cre8ive. At that time, what was your vision for Cre8ive? Was it supposed to be like a video agency, or did you want it to include everything that it has today already?
Well, at that point, I realized, wow, this is really something. Web is something I can do, and a lot of people need really awesome websites. A lot of people need not just the standard typical website, or they need a website that doesn't cost $15,000. That's cool. Especially back then, I think people were paying $25,000 for a decent website, just because only a few people knew how to do it. But when WordPress came along, it really changed the game as far as if you could watch a ton of YouTube videos and take one web design course at Lubbock Christian, you could build a WordPress website.
But only at LCU.
Dude, only LCU, yes. You can't go to anyone else. So the vision was, once I built that first website, this is something I built into a package and do video and web for a lot of clients. And I had a lot of fun doing that in the early days.
So it was just meant to be video and web at first. Kind of like its own little niche thing.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
So before that, you said like you went to college for business. You didn't know what you wanted to do yet. Did you always see yourself owning your own business in any way? I know you said that you were going to accept a job, but like, did you ever see yourself owning a business?
I think senior year of college is when I realized it was a pretty good possibility.
Okay, so from graduating, you decided, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start my own agency. What was your next step?
So I just have to say this really cool story. So I was in my last semester at LCU. Wow, we're talking about school a lot. Okay, cool. Young me. And I came home after classes one day. In that last semester, I moved back in with my parents for one semester. And my dad was ripping out the ceiling of our shop in the backyard. And it's a really nice shop. That's kind of like a house. It's got carpet and everything. And I said, Dad, what are you doing? And he said, I'm building you an office. And the insulation was falling from the ceiling, and he was clearing things out on the floor, and he was like, here's what we're going to map out this 10 by 20 area, and we're going to expose the rafters, and we're going to put insulation up between the rafters and make this just a really neat place. And I helped as much as I could. My dad did most of the work, but we framed it in, and then my dad was like, you need a desk. And I was like, right. And he was like, but desk that we want, my dad was he really wanted to do so much, and he still does. My dad is very much a doer and a want to helper. And we were looking at editing desks, and they were $3,000 plus back then. And so we're like, you know what? We found some plans. We can build it ourselves. And so we built this ginormous, really cool editing desk, had lights underneath it, and it was all painted. And back then my dad had a paint booth studio set up also in the shop, because he was painting his boat that he's building, his sailboat that he's building out there. So we painted the desk professionally with like automotive paint, clear coated it, and it was really awesome. And so I really had a state-of-the-art office right upon graduation. Wow. And so what it looked like is me working just odd hours, very odd hours, really late nights, and doing a lot of things for free for people, doing things for dirt cheap, getting my name out there, getting started, and also getting better at my craft. I was not fantastic. I had been a camp videographer for 3 summers in a row, and I thought I was pretty good because I had done that. I did get a lot of experience and made some music videos and things while I was up there, worked a lot with graphics, and really got my hands dirty with any type of editing software I could. And so I had learned a lot, but still was so young, so green. And so those early years of working the late nights and in overdrive, that's where I learned a whole lot, and helped get me to where I am today.
So Cre8ive started in a backyard shed.
It really did. You're right. It started in a garage in the backyard.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have any pictures?
There should be quite a few pictures.
Yeah, I bet if you go back on the Cre8ive Facebook page, way back, you'll see some.
Well, if you're watching, if you're listening to this, you won't see it. Go to YouTube.
Well,
but
maybe,
we'll put a picture.
We'll put some pictures
right here.
Right over Savannah's face.
Right here. So where did you go from there after the shed garage?
So it was
building.
It was 3 or 4 years in that garage shed apartment building thing in the backyard of my parents' house.
Backyard shed. Garage.
And just for the record, I did live there another after graduation, about 3-4 months max, but I didn't just continue living.
He really wants to let everyone know he's
You're
not.
I don't live with my mom. I don't live with my mom.
Yeah. So I did get a house, had some awesome roommates move in with me, and right away started filming and editing and building any website I could. Just creating cool stuff was like my passion and what I love to do. And we were there in that office for 3 to 4 years. It ended up being where we built in an office in the studio out there. We also had converted a bedroom in my parents' house to another office, and 2 people worked in there. We were a very full, very tight quartered place.
So you already had employees at that point?
We did start adding employees after 3 years. In the second or third year, we started adding some employees. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, some team members.
What was it like when you were first like, I think I can hire someone now?
Well, that was a neat, I knew I had to hire to continue to grow. I needed someone to edit, I needed someone to film, someone to be around to help me fly a drone. We had to have 2 people to fly a drone back then. You had to have one on the remote and then one watching. And so...
How many people does it take to fly a drone?
Now just one.
Yeah.
1 to
One
operate
and
it,
your pilot
and
license.
3 to watch.
Yeah.
So
you already kind of had those growth plans from the beginning then. Like you knew, I want to grow this. Like you didn't just want to be a freelancer.
that's a great point. And you're right. I did not want to freelance the rest of my life. I knew that wasn't the way to build a business and kind of, I don't know, build a life and grow up. And I wanted to build a life and grow up.
So for stability.
Yeah, for stability and yeah.
So you can move out of your mom's house.
And so I can move, yep. Yep. So after about 4 years then, we were looking for office space and saw quite a few options, turned down a bunch, but then found the one we're in today. And it just made a lot of sense. Honestly, when I walked in, at first, it felt like home. It felt like it was the way it should be. It was laid out. It was like, this is a no-brainer for me. It was really interesting. Even though there was popcorn ceiling, did not like that. There was wallpaper on every wall, plus every big office had padded wallpaper. And no joke, when we pulled that stuff off the walls, some roaches came out, and so it was disgusting. Yeah. And the demo process was a lot. Hired a few contractors to get all of that done.
Look at this wall.
Yeah. It's a fresh green wall. We just did that.
We did not hire that out, though.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah, I can tell. I'm just kidding. It looks great, you guys.
Yeah. Anyways, this office felt like home, and we've been here for 8 years. Yeah.
What year was that?
I can't remember.
You moved
And I'm
in
not
here
great
in
at math.
2016.
Yeah.
That was just from me creeping on them before I got to come into the picture.
There we go. Yeah.
And now it's home to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
our little cat boy, wherever he went.
He was meowing too loud. We had to let him get out.
So now I'm going to bring Eden into the picture.
Good.
I want to talk more about like day-to-day business ownership, because you talked to me about like your hardships at the beginning. You had to have late nights. You had to work really, really hard and do stuff for free. But now, like, I think the first question I have actually is, did you see Cre8ive growing to what it is right now?
Yes and no. I think I wanted it to be what it is today, and I still think I have visions and goals for it to be much different than it is and to grow a whole lot more than what we are right now. But yeah, in the beginning, I would have been just over the moon to have 3-4 employees and have a quarter of the clients we have now. So yeah, it has grown a whole lot more than I thought originally, and I'm really happy with where we've brought it.
I mean, being a stable company for 14 years, that's awesome.
Well, thank you. And it's all due in part to the awesome team that we have right now and today. So that does include, good acting. You're acting surprised right now. Good job.
I know. I send one email and I say, this place would fall apart without me.
It would.
Okay, so now where we're at, where like thinking back on everything, what has been like the hardest part? this is also a question for you of just like business ownership.
Let's let Eden go first on this one.
The hardest part of business ownership, for me, it was probably finding the balance of being a good boss that I want to be, and then not becoming too attached to our team members. And I think I really struggled with that for a long time. I think honestly, up until I had our last kid, I was doing it all wrong. And so since I guess May or June of last year, I feel like I finally started to get it right, and it clicks now and makes sense. But that's probably been the hardest part.
So are you saying like basically like balance?
Yeah, like
boundaries?
what's appropriate, what's too personal, what like should I be involved in, what shouldn't I, like knowing where my heart is and what I want to do, and then what the world says is okay to do and not do. I think I've like really have pushed my heart down in leading this company, and have let the world say what's good or not good in running a company. And like, you're not supposed to go do things outside of work with your employees, or like that you just come to work high and by and then you like don't get to know them, is your typical kind of corporate how things are run. And that's what I envisioned for this company when I kind of came on board, was to really grow it from what in my opinion was too personal and too cozy and too buddy to where I just felt it was holding things back. So I'm like, what if we cut that and removed it? People had a healthy respect for their boss, and then we can grow, instead of like no one was taking him seriously because they're like, no, but he's my best friend outside of work too. And so it was a really weird shift for me to then come in, and I felt like what I did was the exact opposite and made it very cold, and then just not a fun environment to work for as we were trying to navigate.
We still had fun though.
We still had fun, but it's not like it is today.
Yeah.
Like it was from one extreme to the opposite to like a healthy middle ground now, where I feel like we've finally figured it out.
And I feel like nobody really warns you about that, because I think there are a lot of different opinions about what work and personal relationships are supposed to look like. But that's like a really, really hard thing to learn how to navigate, because people are personal. Like, how are you supposed to only have a business relationship and just leave it at that if you spend 40 hours a week with the same people, especially in such a small company? Like, that's really, really hard.
Yeah.
I think that you found a good balance.
Oh, thanks.
Would you say that we've all found a good balance?
Yeah, I think we all have.
Yeah, I think so.
I have an opinion on that like there's no such thing as just business. I don't think there's such thing as just business. A lot of people will probably disagree with me on that. And like,
but are you happy at your jobs if it's just business?
That's a good question, actually. But it's also very West Texas. Like, small businesses around West Texas, really any business around West Texas is just kind of like that. Like, we're all really personal.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
And some people might prefer to just go to work and do their work and then go home.
I don't. Sometimes I am a workaholic. I must confess.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I like that you are speaking to that, because I feel like a lot of people don't warn you about that.
It was hard. It was hard to come in and see something that, in my opinion, was really wrong, and then shift, and then shift again. Like, you're constantly like, okay, let's figure it out now, because that way didn't work. And so it is really, really good and very healthy now. And I haven't been able to say it's been healthy since I came on board to just 7 or 8 months ago.
Wow.
9 months ago.
We don't want people to know like you changed the company for the better or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all me. Please cut all of this. You're going to leave that in, huh? Me saying, please cut all of this. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, I'm going to have you answer that question too, but I want to go back to before you came on. Because like you knew that Jerrod owned a company when you were gonna marry him, and so did you see yourself becoming co-owner at the beginning?
No. And it's funny, I told everyone, like, there's no way I'm working with him. I was like, I'm not doing that.
Why?
I told everyone that. And it's funny because now my dad has since then been like, oh, I knew you were going to do that. And I was like, what? And it almost offended me because I was like, I was not going to come work for him, with him, none of that.
You're too much of a visionary to just be an employee.
I was in a whole different field though. I was in ministry, and that is where I felt the Lord had called me then. And then to do such a, I mean, not even, I guess it would technically be 180 switch to like a marketing agency that I knew
To
nothing
manipulate people for a
about.
living.
Oh my goodness. Take that out. No.
Yeah, I just
Not true.
never wanted to.
What were you doing in ministry? What was your role?
All things in the community, leading small groups, doing very involved in homeless organizations here in Lubbock, thriving in all those areas.
That is a very, very big switch.
Yeah.
So why didn't you want to?
I think just because I knew like that is what I was called to do at that point in my life. And we had talks for months, even before we got married, on like, well, what would it look like? Because we would go on dates or hang out, and he would tell me like all the problems he was having at his company. I'd be like, well, did you just do this? And he's like, no, like, let me do that. That's a great idea.
He needed a woman.
And so he did. And so he would just start asking me things. It was just almost all we talked about was the company and what my thoughts were and what my opinions were. And
then suddenly you were his boss.
That's right.
We just got to leave it now at this point.
That's it. End of the episode. Goodbye, everyone.
But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but I just
So
didn't
when
want
did you
to do.
when
make
did you
that switch.
decide? What made you switch?
It was February, and I don't know why I know that, but it was in February, and I was bawling my eyes out on the couch. We had already confirmed like I was going to go ahead and put in my 2 weeks and start working for him, but I hadn't yet. And then I was like, I don't want to, and I don't think I'm supposed to, and do you really want me to work with, like, I was terrified, I was hesitant, and just really, really, really got cold feet. And he was like, it's all gonna be fine, please come work for me, we're gonna have like the best time. So I did put in my 2 weeks, and I remember that being after I put in my 2 weeks, it felt that this is where I was supposed to go and what I was supposed to do. So
Yeah.
Do you think that it was imposter syndrome at all?
no, I was in a role previously under ministers. I mean, that's the greatest people in my opinion that you could work for. They're very laid back, they're not bosses, you know? And so I always knew that I was kind of like running and doing my own thing. It was my ideas, and I was just given like the green light to go do things. And so I was always like, no, I can do it. And I watched my dad be an entrepreneur his whole life, and I pretty much knew that I needed to be my own boss too, just because of certain personality traits and attitude issues, if you will, that I do have very strong opinions to where
She's an Enneagram 3, everyone.
eventually it probably would have not worked, me working for the man. And so
This man?
this man,
Yeah.
no, I love it so much now. So I think I knew I could always do it. I just was very scared about the big switch, and I knew nothing about a
big
marketing
life
agency.
change.
Like
Yeah.
I knew nothing.
And I knew that I needed a lot of help in the beginning, and it was a no-brainer for us to do this together. And after being in it for probably a
It was
whole
like 10
year
years at that point.
well, and then after we had been then working together for about a year, then I can't remember if we brought on our executive coach before the end of that first year or kind of around the around then, and seeing how he has helped shape our role clarities and help us get in our different defined lanes, but still running in the same direction. And just from the beginning to where we are now, our roles have changed drastically, and it's taken it's taken more off my plate than I would have ever imagined could. And that's really, I mean, that's not just cool. That's like, it's allowed us to do a whole lot more.
Yeah. I was just going to say, like, us, like, moving all of the you guys being each other's bosses aside, I think I can speak to you guys being really good at knowing exactly what your role is and knowing exactly who to point someone to.
What makes you know that?
I met you guys once.
What helps you know?
Did I mention that I work here? I don't think I told you guys. By the way, viewers.
But Savannah, what helps you know that we know what our rules are?
Because I say, hey, I have a question. And then you say, go ask your mom.
No. I never say that. I say that is an Eden question.
You do say that is an Eden question.
Yeah.
And then you say, what is your signature thing? Because you guys have very signature things that you say, like, every time. Like, you'll say, that's an Eden question. Or you'll say, what do you say? Something like, I think...
Like, empower y'all to go do things.
You always say, well, yeah, you do empower us to make our own decisions a lot.
Yeah.
Which has really grown me a lot. And I kind of hate it. But I feel like a better decision maker now, though. Like, I have less decision paralysis because both of you, like, encourage me to make my own decisions a lot. But also, like, it's really clear that you guys have learned how to complement each other instead of, like, grabbing everything together.
You look really beautiful today, babe.
Complement.
Oh, the wrong compliment.
So now I want to ask you that question that I asked Eden earlier. What's the hardest part?
Hardest part of this job?
Of owning a business.
The hardest part of owning a business is realizing that, you can't just 24/7 go do all the cool stuff, meet the people, film the video, build a website. But you have to do the business side of it too. And you got to look at the financials, and you got to look at the reports and kind of budget, and you got to stay on top of those things. And those are not the fun things for me. That's the hardest part. Hands down.
Yeah. Have you ever wanted to give up?
There have been plenty of times where I have felt like I was going to have to give up. In the early years, it seemed like every December came around, and kind of when I was in the freelancing phase, or maybe just got like one or two team members, and I remember there was a couple Decembers in a row where it's just silence, crickets, and you'd go all year and everyone's reaching out and projects are rolling and you're filming and editing and busy, and then you'd go a month or two with like not a whole lot. And that was everything from creepy to scary in real life. And I remember having many breakfasts with mentors like Zach Galbraith, or, talking to my dad, and just talking about the future and what that might look like. And they would both encourage me that, to keep going, and that it would get better, and just to stay focused. And it was true. Weathered the storm. But those storms that happen, those periods in life that happen, getting through those can be tough because you can't see the end.
So would you say that your community is like the main thing that kept you going? Was there anything else that like why didn't you give up in those times?
I think I liked doing what I was doing so much. And because I liked doing it so much and was so passionate, I knew I was pretty good at it. And I knew that this is my thing. This is what I do. This is what I've got to keep doing.
Like, it's a no-brainer. What else would you do? Right.
And so just had to keep fighting, keep going, keep editing late at night and keep making some promotional pieces that, why am I doing this? It's so late at night, and it's just kind of free stuff you're doing, but it all pays off in the end.
So you would go to the ends of the earth for Cre8ive?
For our team members, yes. Yeah, you heard it first here on the podcast.
Eden.
That was really sweet what he just said.
Yeah.
Didn't know you could get that deep.
Thanks, Jerrod. Jerrod, what's your best joke?
I don't tell jokes. I just laugh at jokes.
You don't even laugh at jokes.
So what's your best joke?
My best joke?
Yeah.
So a horse walks into a bar and he asks the bartender, hey, can I get a pint of beer? And the bartender's like, yeah, sure. And he's looking at him weird. And the horse picks it up. He takes a sip. And the bartender says, I've seen you in here quite a bit. Do you think you might be an alcoholic? And the horse says, I don't think I am. And then he disappears. See, that was a joke about Descartes saying, I think, therefore I am. But if I had told you that before, I'd be putting Descartes before the horse.
Wow.
And that is my best joke.
No.
Have you ever heard like putting the cart before the horse?
No.
That's a saying. And Descartes is a philosopher, theologian, philosopher.
Please let me know if anyone else got that joke.
What's the word?
Okay, no, I usually don't get jokes. But
It's
I
kind of
really
highbrow.
didn't get that one.
It's kind of highbrow.
Highbrow.
What?
What kind of expression is that? Did you just make that up?
Like highbrow humor? You've never heard of that?
I guess I'd never heard of it, but I get it. That's funny.
Highbrow humor, like you have to know to get the joke. Like you have to know a lot of things,
Yeah.
very niche things.
Very pretentious.
Yet pretentious humor.
Mm-hmm.
We'll call it that.
Yeah.
Okay, where were we?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Oh,
can't
I
remember.
asked Eden. Eden,
Yeah.
have you ever wanted to give up?
No. I know.
No.
No.
That's the first no we've gotten on this
know.
show, and you know that.
Yeah, and I'm excited to give it and say it because no. I think Cre8ive is so special and working with Jerrod is so special, and I've just seen what happens when you buckle down and really try hard. And so no, this is I've never wanted to give up.
You never wanted to quit any day. Wow.
She's
no,
a
I've
fighter.
cried a lot. Oh my word, have I cried more working at this company than probably in my whole entire life for
Sounds like a terrible
various
company.
reasons. It's great now. I haven't cried in a while.
Very long time.
But no, I never wanted to give up.
I have a new challenge
What?
to make you
Want to give up?
I'm just kidding.
So when you don't see Sav on the podcast anymore, it's because I fired her.
Apparently, I was accidentally hired. So,
She wasn't.
is that true, Jerrod?
No.
I was accidentally hired.
No. Was that on the McAlpine podcast episode? Yeah.
How did it even get brought up though? Why did you ever say that? Oh, I said
You
it.
said that.
I said it. I was pregnant. I don't know. I said a lot of things and I was just trying to get that baby out.
No, you said that during the podcast episode.
Yeah. No, I know. But I was kidding.
Oh, that's why you said it.
Yeah.
Because you were
'Cause
just
I was like,
just
back.
kidding.
Well,
Like
and
you
just
say
kidding.
mean things and then you say just kidding. I
Yeah.
do that too.
Instead of telling a joke, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jerrod, what's your best joke?
Again, I do not tell jokes. I just laugh at them. So your Descartes before the horse was a really good joke. And yeah.
That's the most business answer I've ever gotten to a joke.
You expected nothing less from him.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so now we're past all the hard things. We're past giving up. What's the most rewarding part?
I'll let you go first, babe.
Okay. I mean, getting to do a podcast because it was our idea one day and we just took it and ran with it, and Jerrod supported us and getting to walk into Cre8ive and see our team members every day, and just being so thankful for the life we have and what we're living and experiencing life together. That's very rewarding for me. And our kids get to reap the benefits of what, the hard work we're putting in right now. And they get to hear us talk about, how hard things were, and they get to be involved in, every time we have a hard day, Peyton's like, did someone quit? And it just cracks me up because she's so invested in the company. They're so sweet and precious, but they get to see the rewards too. I mean, they, there's the long, hard hours and conversations, and another hard part is just a husband and wife working together. It comes with its challenges.
Hey, you're the ones who just decided to start sharing a desk.
Yeah,
not just an office,
so
a desk.
much.
The dueling desk. So I'll play right along with what you're saying, as far as the most rewarding part being, our team members, or the team that we've got now, and so many things go with that. I think kind of not one of the thought of rewarding parts of owning this business and doing it together with you, babe, is the experience, the conversation, the minutes, the hours, the growing and the growth that we've done together while doing all of this. And it has taken us from a newlywed couple to it's just advanced us so fast as far as our marriage, our leadership skills. I know that it truly is iron sharpens iron. The both of us working together, and so I know I've grown a ton in the last 4 years, and we've just really things have changed around here, and it's all amazing. God has really worked through our executive coach and through this whole team.
Okay, who's your favorite client?
HR says don't answer that.
Everyone knows we love our clients. I love every one of my clients. Well, who's your favorite client?
Favorite client? There's so many, but the ones that we get to do a little traveling for, I do enjoy those. Even if it's just down in Midland, Odessa, I don't know what the deal is. A lot of people do not like going down there. Not here. It's not saying at this company. Just anyone I talk to from Lubbock, they're like, oh, I've got to go to Odessa today or Midland. And I enjoy that a lot. I enjoy driving up in the Panhandle for an Ag Texas shoot. I didn't get to go on the recent California trip, but would have loved to do that. I mean, we've gotten to do a lot of really neat travel this year and last year too. And so those are fun. Those are fun things. The other clients that I like are the ones that we are very connected with the owners and we're very involved in their business. And in those clients, I feel
it's more like a partnership.
Yeah. That's really exciting. I love getting to more than just build a website and, and I'm not saying me build a website. I mean, that's going to be us designing it and not me. But I love it when our teams get to design and build those videos and graphics and things, and we get to know the business.
Bring their brand to life. I think that's what we enjoy the most.
The more we know, the more involved we are and get to be, the more we can help them.
Yeah. So what's something that you will never compromise on in business?
Character and character.
Yeah.
That's a very short answer. It's a one-word answer.
No, it's good though.
Yeah.
Tell me, elaborate a little bit.
The things that we say we're going to do, we sure better do them. And I keep putting "and" after everything, but that's the answer. The things that we say we're going to do, we better do them.
Period.
Yeah.
Hey.
So babe, what's the one thing you would never compromise on?
I don't know.
It's like, I don't know. I compromise everything every day.
I mean, I run things the way I do, to where I've never been faced with compromising or having to compromise anything. I think how you were saying the things we're going to do, we better do them. And it just made me think of, let your yes be yes and your no be no. And I think when you teach people that that's who you are, they match that. And so I've never even been put in a situation to where I have to compromise on something. It's all been very organic, or it just happens the way it's supposed to. Or, if you know me, I'm very direct. And so, you know what I'm going to do, and you know what I'm going to say, and there's no compromising with me anyway. So
don't toot your own horn there.
That's just how I live life, though. Like, you're not going to compromise with me because you know that I'm not a person that puts up with that in any form.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever met anyone as honest.
Some might say authentic.
Direct,
honest.
Aggressive.
Yeah. Oh, fair.
I'm kidding.
If the shoe fits. I wear it. I wear those hats proudly, though, and that's why I'm in the role I'm in.
Someone has to.
Like, I own that. I know that about me.
Mm-hmm.
And so this role is very fitting for me.
It is. It really is.
The most Enneagram 3. I can't.
I love to work.
I feel like I have so many more questions.
What are some questions? So let's just fire them off. Go.
Okay. I forgot them all. Oh, I almost forgot. This is my favorite question. Have you ever had any big mishaps? Funny mishaps?
He says no.
Nope.
Wait, I can think of a few for you, so I'll let you read.
Such as?
Story.
Such as?
There was a tree and a drone.
There was.
Kissed.
I was in Midland for that one. Not a mishap.
Hard.
So yeah, drones have been caught in trees here and there. Just part of life, No.
That is like new slogan?
No.
Or like
no,
we gotta put that on the wall. We gotta paint it in pretty lettering.
So Bobby's gonna cut that after this airs. But yeah, when you've flown a drone for 10 years and sometimes daily for those 10 years, yeah, to have like 2 little drone mishaps, luckily no one has been anywhere near around, and nothing. It's all.
Can we test it?
Test what?
Like, what would happen if you flew a drone into someone? I volunteer.
No, I've heard some stories. It's not pretty.
Oh no.
Yeah, hands
Can
get
it be that bad?
cut up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You gotta be careful.
Like, no more fingers?
Not quite that bad, luckily. But
okay, so
the big ones. We used to have one that was ginormous, and that one would do some extra damage. But yeah, the ones that, yeah, okay, just go. I'm done. You can cut.
How are we gonna end any of these clips?
Bobby has a special challenge.
That's gonna be a special job for me too, for us to get clips from this episode. Like,
okay.
You're so well articulated, and then you say "and."
I'm just done. Throw "and" at the end of it. Dang it.
What are my other questions? What am I missing, Bobby?
What would you change if you could go back and do it all over again?
I wouldn't change anything. No. Man, that's a tough question. My story and where Cre8ive has come from, I don't have anything big to change. I think where we are right now is really unique. I love the growth path that we're on right now, and I'm just excited about that. And so I can't think of anything to change back in the day, because I wouldn't want right now to be different.
No regrets. I just thought of a really important question that I forgot. Both of you, whoever wants to answer, what would you tell someone who wants to start their own business?
Beep. I'll go first. but I don't have the answer yet. Let me think about it. Okay. What would I tell them?
What advice would you give them?
Well, my questions for them would make sure that it's something that they are really excited about. They're really passionate about. And if they have those two things, then I know a lot of dominoes will fall in place. And then as far as these days, how to get started, make sure digital marketing secrets 101. So get in touch with Savannah and have her help you with your Google business profile. Get in touch with Aaron and let him help build you a website. And then also Aaron, and he'll help get you in touch with the video production department and help start. Yeah. And
Shameless plug here.
Yeah. And then once you get in touch with Aaron about video production and that's rolling, then
you get in touch with Eden so you can pay your invoices.
Yes. And so once you're
because we will charge.
So obviously it all comes down to telling your story. And so if you want to start out and you want to build anything, I remember, I don't know, I haven't mentioned this yet on the podcast, but I used to be a DJ. And the way I got the word out on that was telling the story through video that I was a DJ. And so we would video some of the events we did. The BYX Barn Dance was one of the biggest. And when I put that video out on Facebook, then everyone was like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that guy was a DJ. And so then I did a lot of weddings, did some other fraternity sorority parties at Tech, and hence the name Delta Jamma. I've got to give another shameless plug for my dad too, because he came up with that name. And the name Delta Jamma was just so fun to have and to throw out there for all those years. And people, if they didn't love it, they laughed at it and it stuck in their minds. And so that's why it was good.
Yeah.
I think too, like Jerrod's a serial entrepreneur starter. I mean, he's done so many things and he has so many things that we keep hidden. But if you want to know how to start something, like I know he would love to sit down. Like if you're serious about it, if you're serious, yes, he'll sit down with you. If you're not, then don't waste his time, please, because we'll hear about it.
Oh my goodness.
It'll cost you. I will invoice you for that.
Oh my goodness. No.
If he felt like it was a good meeting, it's free.
But he would love to share his knowledge because you've done and started so many things. And while it might come natural for you, like you have plenty of good information for others to start their own journey.
And you guys clearly care about helping people with their businesses. Like,
yeah,
that's kind of what we do.
Yeah, that's why we exist. Yeah.
So what you're saying is like to just get yourself out there. No holds barred. Just do it.
That's right.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you fail, you fail, but you tried. So
yeah.
That's
and you gotta let people know.
Yeah, that's big. I think there is something to be said for when you go all in, and that's when it starts to become a real thing. There are so many people who just do it something on the side, and they have a full-time job, and they run it like that. But once they fully commit, then they can really watch that thing take off.
Yeah. And Eden's advice is ask Jerrod.
Yep.
Really, that can go along with like just reach out to people. So many people on this podcast have already said, like, if you want to start a business and you want mentorship, basically every business owner out there is going to be willing to help you.
So many business owners would love to share the do's and don'ts of how they got to where they got. I mean, obviously 14 years has come with more hardships, but with those hardships has come growth to where Jerrod's saying like, yeah, we're at where we're at because of all the things we've had to overcome. So I think when you're faced with like, this is going to be the hardest thing I've ever done, and you go into it knowing that, but it's also going to be the most rewarding thing you've ever done, well, why wouldn't you do it? Don't let the hard be scary would be my advice too. Just close your eyes.
It's good advice.
It gets better.
I also want to hand letter that on a wall.
Don't let the hard be scary.
Yeah.
Savannah, what are some of your favorite office quotes that have been thrown around?
I'm so
here at the
glad you
office?
asked. I have a list.
Did you tell him to ask you that?
No, but I'm so excited.
I feel like that was planned.
So I have an office quote book.
Oh no.
I'll redact some.
I just knew she would really enjoy sharing that.
Today, Aaron said, sometimes I just say words to try them out. He also said, they did not microwave my sushi long enough.
Oh, gross.
Also from Aaron, can you sigh a little bit louder? I couldn't smell your breath.
I remember that day.
Also from Aaron, I want my eyebrows to start my hairline. Let's move on to Jeremiah. I can't say any of these. I can't.
Oh, no.
He said, my Amish friends are hot. He said, you can smoke weed, but you can't have a raccoon.
You can't have a raccoon.
Eden, I'm so thankful for his penny pincher ways.
I was talking about you.
Jerrod, we still had the meeting despite profusely bleeding from your face.
What?
And you were telling. I remember that too.
It's because I got a bloody nose right before we had a meeting with a client.
Yes.
And then I was still there because I'm dedicated to my job.
You're very dedicated. Very.
Anyway, I'm so glad you asked that.
Yeah, me
I
too.
love the office quote book.
Some of them are interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Jerrod,
Yeah.
Eden, one of you can do it. Look at one of the cameras and tell us where to find Cre8ive and what Cre8ive can do for you.
I'm gonna let you do
You're
it.
doing it.
You got it. Yeah,
This is your
great at
episode.
this.
No, you hang up.
No, this is
No,
our
you hang
episode
up first.
together. This is our episode.
Okay. Instagram is Cre8ive.company. Facebook, I think, is just Cre8ive.
Yeah, it might be.
LinkedIn is Cre8ive.
That's-
the website's Cre8ive
CRE number 8
with an 8.
IVE. There's no T.
Please
Correct.
stop putting a T.
Every
I mean,
now
I
and then
get
we
it.
see a T in there. Yeah,
Oh, there's a T all the
but
time.
yeah, it's just we didn't name the company Cre8ive. You know, it's just Cre8ive.company.
Also, our website is Cre8ive.company.
That's right.
And why should someone reach out to Cre8ive?
I mean, I don't know if I've met a more passionate group of marketers who just want to see you win and are going to do everything in their power to help someone along that journey get the branding right, get the vision right. I know sometimes it's really hard to express what you're wanting, and I promise you this group of people here will listen to everything that you want, need, have, and vision for your business, and they'll match that and exceed it. So
And we all get just as giddy when something works out really well, probably as the business owners.
yeah, I think our crew loves seeing client stuff come to life maybe more than the client does because it was successful. And when it's successful, it's just so good. So I think we have the best crew in all of Lubbock. Even beyond that, but I'll just say Lubbock. So
We do.
In the world.
I think that's correct. Why didn't I not just go for what I wanted to say?
Well, this has been a fun episode, very special episode. Thank you for watching our Cre8ive episode.
Your story matters.
Thanks for having me.
Stay focused.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Who is your least favorite client?
No, I don't even say that off camera. You can't trick me. Those are probably still rolling.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Stay Focused podcast.
You can find more episodes wherever you listen to podcasts.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you want more bonus content, you can join our Patreon.
Remember that your story matters, so stay focused.